Hi everybody, welcome back to Free America. Today I'm out here in the shop looking at some USN Mark 1 knives made by the Colonial company in Providence, Rhode Island. So there's a couple of different styles that Colonial made, and this was the first one. So there's a difference in the shape of the pommel on the later version, and the earlier version has this texturing right here that the later version does not have. So also the earlier version has the lead fill at the top of the pommel, and the later version doesn't have that. So here we have the later version. And we also have the sheath. So the reason I brought the sheath out here is because it's worth noticing that this is a left-hand sheath, which was pretty common, and this one is clearly marked USN. Brass rivets, single stitching, and it has the sailor's name stenciled on the back of it. So good piece of equipment to have to go with your collection. So like I said, the later version of the knife has a different shape on the pommel, and it doesn't have the texturing down here. Both of them have the texturing up here. Also, this knife does not have the lead fill. So this handle material is actually hard rubber, and the problem with hard rubber is that it breaks. So you may have seen this one in one of my earlier videos, but this is a good example of how brittle it can be and how it can break. So let's take a quick look at the markings. This is the USN markings on these two blades, and the later one is marked Mark 1 Colonial, and the earlier one is marked Colonial Providence, Rhode Island. So high carbon steel blades, obviously, and as you can see, these knives have been through some work in their time. They've seen a little bit of use and abuse. So Colonial is still in business, and like many of the other companies, they decided to go ahead and make a version of their World War II knife. Now their leather sheath is a little bit different. It is marked USN. You know, it's nicely made. It's not obviously identical, right, to the World War II, but you know, I give them a little bit of credit for getting it pretty darn close. Not bad. So the new knife has the dark phosphate parkerizing, like the original World War II knives did, and it has the markings USN Providence, Rhode Island. So this knife is so close to the original that if you weren't sure, you could be fooled into believing this is a World War II knife. But there are some differences. So most importantly, and probably you know, the most obvious thing to collectors, is that the markings on these knives are reversed. So you see here USN on the obverse and Colonial on the reverse, right? This is exactly the opposite on the new knife. Colonial on the obverse, USN on the reverse. The other easy way to tell is that the modern knives do not have a lead fill. So don't get taken in. There are a number of people who are selling these knives, and quite frankly, they don't know the difference. So they may very well be trying to sell that knife as an original World War II knife in mint condition, which it actually isn't. So So the grind on the new knife is slightly different than on the original knives. It's kind of hard to tell, but this is a flat grind that goes all the way up on the original knives, and on the newer knives the flat grind ends about 1/4 of an inch above the spine. Not sure if you can see that clearly. I'm trying to get that for you. But I gotta say, overall, the modern knife, you know, you can buy them for way too much money if you try to, but you can generally find this knife, the modern knife, for, you know, $60 to $70 in that price range. 75. You can even get them new in the box for, you know, less than 80 bucks. Original Colonial knives that are not busted are gonna range in price depending on condition, you know. Also, the presence of an original sheath, you know, definitely adds to the value of the knife. So a knife like one of these you can probably pick up in the collector market for, you know, anywhere from 45 to, you know, more money than you could possibly, you know, care to pay. But it's an interesting knife because of the variations, and there are 2 other variations in the Colonial line that I don't have, and one of them is this knife, completely sterile with no markings. Apparently, at least one order was done that way with no markings, probably, you know, just to speed up production. And the other variation, which I almost had my hands on and I'm ready to scream because I didn't get it, is this knife as a prototype. It has a bright blade, and this part of the handle is tan colored, and it was actually, you know, kind of a clear epoxy lucite that they were trying out as a prototype. You can find them around every once in a while, but they're hundreds of dollars. So yeah, I just had one slip through my fingers. Otherwise I would have it here in the video for you. But Colonial knives, USN Mark 1s, neat little pieces of equipment. Like I said, the modern knife is a damn good piece of gear. I would carry this. So these knives are, you know, pretty available if you go looking for them on online, on the auction sites and stuff like that, as well as the newer knife. So, like I said, I would carry this knife. I would have no heartburn with it whatsoever. It's good quality. Comes very, very sharp out of the box. Nice, even, well done, you know, black phosphate parkerizing. So thanks for joining me today. I hope this was helpful, educational, entertaining, or any of the above. And if it was, you know, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if this is the kind of stuff that you like to see. And thanks for coming by and spending time with me. God bless America.